You've created this cute little character and you're not quite sure how to bring it to market. Watch this video and learn how. Okay, everybody, Stephen Key with inventRightTV, and today I have someone that lives pretty far away. Mark, where do you live?
So I'm based in Birmingham at the moment in the United Kingdom.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's far away. Uh, but then again, we have people watching this from all around the world, especially a lot of people in the UK. What's interesting about this interview is that you're doing something pretty amazing. So can you share with all of us, what do you do and what are your dreams?
So I'm the creator of a brand called Fuzzballs, and I like to call ourselves a pop culture character brand, very similar to stuff like Hello Kitty and like other kawaii brands out there. And basically, it's just me doing lots of silly, cute drawings of animals and putting them online, as cartoons and animations initially, and now we have a whole bunch of merch everywhere. So we have like T-shirts and plush toys and other products in retail stores around the UK and around the world, really.
Okay. So wait a minute. Wait a minute. Let's step back even further. Sounds like you're very creative. You created these wonderful characters. What did you study in college? Did you go to college? And what's your background?
So yeah, I went to college in the UK, which is, I guess, a little bit different to in the States. So there, I just learned IT. I did some art and I did psychology as well. But for me, my initial passion was in video games, and so for that, I got into the video games industry, became an artist there, and worked my way up through the ranks. So I've worked for companies like Sega. I've done stuff on PlayStation and things like that. And that's where my kind of career was.
Okay.
And as someone who likes to draw and be creative all the time, I was always making stuff. And so Fuzzballs actually came out of an idea that I just had like one lunchtime. I was like, right, I'm gonna just draw these characters because whilst I'm an okay artist, I think I cannot draw people or animals. So I was like, how do I draw like these characters, but without being able to draw animals? And so I created like the round object and messed around with it, and I just put them up online in my lunch breaks, and that's where they kind of like took off when they was posted on Tumblr and places like that.
Well, it's interesting because you've created these cute little characters, and we're going to show everything up on in this video. But you've expanded. I mean, do you have cartoons? Is it a book, cartoons, or an app? I mean, how do you make them come to life in order to sell the merchandise? Is that how that works? You make them come to life, they love it, then you have merchandise?
Yeah, so initially the way I started it is they were Tumblr webcomics. So just these little drawings that are put up online. There was no business involved at that point. It was just for fun.
Okay.
And it was only because fans found it online and they really enjoyed it and were like, I want to buy this on a t-shirt. Can I buy it on a mug? That's a really cool design. And so that's when I started making products. I took it to Comic-Con here in the UK. And that's where we really took off with the products and the merch, because people were coming and buying products but hadn't seen the comics and didn't understand what it was, but they loved the designs on the shirts and the other products. And from there, it's basically expanded into social media stickers. So we have like 1.8 billion uses of those on like Facebook and Instagram, stuff like that. So they get used about 1 million times a month at this point. And it's now lots of little things. So you've got the comics, you've got the merch, which tells the story, you've got the stickers.
Okay.
And, there's all these little things that are kind of going on that kind of create the whole thing, really.
Well, you know what I find really interesting is that years and years ago, people would write a book and people would fall in love with the characters, and then the merchandise came later.
Yeah.
And then things like Hello Kitty or My Little Pony, there's all this during the 80s where they created these wonderful characters and they built storylines around it. So it kind of went in the other direction.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting that your characters are so cute. They really don't need the storyline, do they? They love the characters, right?
Exactly, and it's one of those interesting things where people ask me about the story, and each character has their own backstory and personalities and things they like to do, and that's told via the comics and stickers and other things. But also the products tell the story as well.
Okay.
So, there's certain characters that do certain things on t-shirts and mugs and stickers and stuff, and people go, I act like that character. So, for example, we've got a tiger character called Timmy. He's very cute, very adorable, and very clumsy, and that's told via the designs I create for the products.
Okay.
And then customers come along and go, I'm clumsy, I love Timmy, he's cute and adorable, that's me, that's who I am, I love that character. So I buy his products and only his products.
How do you get inspired? Like, how do you? I mean, how do you? Where do you draw your inspiration from?
Well, this comes from the pop culture side of it. So the characters are kind of like a mix between the East and the West. So they're very kawaii looking, so very Japanese, but with like a Western humor and personality to them. So I put Pixar style humor in there. So there's lots of stuff where adults will look at it and laugh and find something different to what the kids find funny. But then we just riff on video games and anime and memes and internet culture and stuff like that.
Okay.
So anytime something happens in the world, we can use the characters to tell that story.
Oh, that's nice. It makes it connection. It makes it current too. And
Yes.
okay, you've got a great product idea and you're not quite sure what to do, or maybe you've got inventory in your garage because you were selling your product on Amazon and you don't want to continue doing it, but you want someone to help you license your idea to a company to bring it to market for you. We have a new program that's called Gateway, where we do all the work for you. We'll find the right companies and the right people to make sure your product is pitched correctly to get the licensing deal. This new program is called Gateway. If you're interested, please check it out. So, how do you start doing this? I mean, did you have a vision that, hey, I'm going to start here, but it's going to go into merchandise, apparel, and t-shirts and cards? I mean, how did that all kind of come in your mind? And how do you do it online? I mean, does it take a lot of money to do what you're doing?
So the way I initially started was I just did it for fun. It wasn't a business. It only became a business because the fans were asking for product. And, so I was like, okay, well, let's make some product. And I risked £2,000 of my own money to make a bunch of shirts and some stickers and a couple other items. And we took them to Comic-Con. So we paid for like a tiny little booth in the UK, went to Comic-Con. And I had, zero expectations. Like, it's one of those things, people can ask for it, but until they put their money down, you don't know if they're going to buy it. And so we took it there knowing that there isn't a fan base there, really, because it's all online, and generally in America, because Tumblr was much bigger in America than in the UK. So I knew, like, our audience wasn't at Comic-Con. It was a risk, but we sold out that weekend. And that's when it proved to me there's something here, because these are people who have never seen this before, probably, and they just love the designs.
Okay.
And then they've kind of come around backwards and found the storylines and the comics and stuff like that afterwards.
Okay.
And from there, it's really just fan investment. So we don't have any investors. It's all fan funded. So they buy products, and that allows me to do more products and do more things. And that's opened up like a world of retailers and licensees and stuff like that who have kind of seen our successes online and at the shows with our products and gone, well, there's something here. People obviously are buying this. Like, how do we make it bigger?
Well, you know what's interesting? I've been to Comic-Con here in San Diego. It's a pretty big thing. And I think it's remarkable that here you went, bought a table, had a booth, and instantly people liked it, bought it. It was proof of concept. It told you, hey, I'm on to something. Okay, so how do you buy merchandise? Let's say your plush. Your plush is very, very cute, by the way.
Thank you.
How did you find the manufacturer to make the plush?
So there's different ways we've done it. So in the past, say for t-shirts, we would find a local screen printer and do the t-shirts. We now actually print our t-shirts in-house. So we have industrial machinery.
Oh.
So we can print our t-shirts. We use DTG for speed and cost reasons and quality.
Okay.
And it means we can create it all and control the manufacturing. When it comes to stuff like the plush toys and retail products, we have licensees who do that all for us.
Oh.
So we've got a licensee called Cap Toys. They make our plush toys. So they handle all that stuff. They handle all the retail and taking it into shops like HMV and Miniso and
Okay.
TK Maxx and places like that. Um, so it's really changed over the years as I've done it. I've initially found manufacturers local to do things, and then as it's got bigger or I've wanted more control, we've brought the manufacturing
That's
in-house.
interesting.
But then there's other stuff where we rely on other people who are way bigger than us to manage things to a much larger scale.
Well, what's really interesting too is that you're able to license it to a company with your designs, so making it for you, and that was very clever for you to do that. So, so selling online, there's a big benefit to selling online because you get the cash up front, right?
Yes. Yes, exactly. You get to keep all of it, but then you also have the headache of, you've got to be the one who has the website and does the customer service and posts it out and all that stuff. So for me, the reason we got into licensing is because I know that my reach is my limitation. I'm one person, there's 24 hours a day. And I'm the artist. I'm also the person who's running the business, who's doing the taxes, who's doing the customer orders shipping out, who's doing the marketing, the social media. I have to do everything. There's not enough time for it all.
Okay.
So for me, licensing was the way that I could have other people who are much more knowledgeable than me take that and expand it into realms that I couldn't do by myself.
So how hard was it for you to license to Cap Toys? They've been around. I know them. They've been around for a long time. I mean, did you call them up? Did you find them on LinkedIn? Did you see them at a trade show? Say, hey, I got this great thing. It's really cute. I want to license it to you. How did that all work?
So I went around the shows, the trade shows, and I found a licensing agent that wanted to work with us and take a risk because I'm going there as a tiny brand compared to the likes of Godzilla and Hello Kitty and Sonic the Hedgehog and stuff like that.
Right.
And most licensing agents, they don't want to touch you unless they can make money very easily.
Okay.
They're not there to take a small brand and turn it into a big thing. It needs to already have a big fan base to begin with. So we was lucky enough to find an agent.
Okay.
But actually, surprisingly, we got contacted by HMV, who had seen our stuff and they'd seen me on LinkedIn posting and talking about it. And they're like, look, we are expanding into Japanese style products and different pop culture brands. We are interested in what you've got. Like, you have something that none of the other brands out there have. We could go to the other big brands in your niche, but we want what you have. I'm like, well, if you want this stuff, we don't have licensees for the certain products they wanted. And they actually connect us. There was a guy there called Gary Williamson, who's absolutely fantastic. One of the buyers there, he connected us with Cap Toys because they had great success with Among Us in HMV. And so it's like, speak to them, I'll connect you, and hopefully a deal can be made. And it's because of him that connection happened.
Wow, this is really amazing that you're a one-man band, right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
did
Yep.
you-
So, I hire some people at different times for things, but I like to try and keep things pretty lean.
Okay.
Just because that creates, more productivity in terms of the designs and stuff like that. But also that's the challenge as a small business, is that hurdle. And as I've already told you, all the jobs I'm doing at the moment, trying to get multiple staff on board and also train them is, that's another job entirely. And I always tell people I'm not a business person. I'm a creative that's had to learn business. And that's the tough part. So there is a leap I would love to do with having, a huge team of people. But, it comes down to a lot of different factors why that's not happened yet, but that's why I focused on licensing.
Okay.
So I don't have to manage a team of people. I have the licensees who can do that
amazing.
part for me.
So you're looks like you're interested in retail a little bit here now, right? You want to expand in retail. Why do you want to go into retail?
Because that's in my mind, that's the easiest way to expand my reach without having to do lots of marketing. Because marketing is a magic black hole of a money pit, really. But we've got the online store which I created and manage, but you need to know the store exists, whereas there is hundreds of thousands of retail stores across the globe where people could hopefully find our products there and just buy it because they love it. And I think for us as a brand, we're very mainstream in that people see it and go, I love this. I've never seen it before, but I love it. I want to buy it.
Got it.
So the more stores that we're in, the easier I feel we will find more
Okay.
customers.
Let's talk about your name, Fuzzballs. Did you
Yeah.
protect that? Is it a trademark, or can you talk a little bit
Yeah,
about that?
so we have it trademarked. Honestly, it's not something I put a lot of thought into at the time. It was just like, oh, this will be a cool name for the Tumblr page. It fits the characters. Fuzzballs is like, animals. They're fluffy, they're round, so it all fits into the design of the characters.
Okay.
But it's been one of those things that has been a challenge later on in terms of making sure we get all the social media handles, because it's a common word.
Yes, it is.
So we've managed to get them over time.
Okay.
But looking back, I probably would have come up with a different name. But as it is, people love the name. They think it's funny. It's easy to remember. It works for the brand. So I love it. But at the same time, you do need to think about this up front. And as I said, it wasn't a business, so I never did.
If someone was going to start out, what would you tell them if they had this wonderful character that was cute and you saw it? You go, hey, what would you tell them to do?
So I would tell them, don't force it through as a business. If I had made this initially and was putting money behind it and was like, I'm making this as a business, it's going to be huge, it would have flopped. It has only been a success because it has grown organically with the fan base. So if you do have a cute character or something, I feel like you just need to put it out there, try it, and you need to just grow your audience and listen to your audience to find out what they like and what they want. Because I speak to and work with a lot of other artists, especially in Comic-Con and stuff like that. Some absolutely fantastic artists out there. And they have an amazing design. You think it's going to do really well. But when you put it out there, the audience doesn't gel for whatever reason. And it can be little things like the shirt colour that you've put on, or what the character is doing, or just how you market yourself. There's lots of little things that can go wrong. And so it's a case of you just got to constantly evolve it to the point where, yes, you've figured it out.
Okay.
You know what makes it a success and why the audience loves it.
So it's really about testing, if you can, and find that combination that people really want. And I think you're really smart. If you can put it out on the table, people walk by and they buy it, you've got something.
Yes, exactly.
Brilliant. Mark, thank you so much for coming on. I mean,
Thank you for having me on. It's been fantastic.
well, I think it's wonderful, and I saw you on social media, and I think your product is cute. It's really cute. I think you're smart with all your messaging on the apparel and the cards. Congratulations on everything, and thank you for sharing at inventRightTV.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I honestly say it is tough work. It's hard, especially being a smaller brand. But we're getting noticed now, and it's starting to pay off, which is really exciting because I get more people there enjoying what I've created, and ultimately that's what I want to see is these happy faces, loving the stupid little drawings that I've made.
It's brilliant. Thank you so much.